A very good day to everyone. I hope you're all well. I'm Fakira from UN Global Compact Network, Malaysia and Brunei, and I will be facilitating for this session. First and foremost, thank you all for joining us in today's workshop session, Applying Sustainability in SMEs. Before we start, I would first like to highlight a few things to participants. Kindly keep your mic and camera turned off throughout the session. For best experience, please view this in speaker's view by clicking on view on the upper right corner. Please do note that this session is being recorded. If you're having any connectivity issues, please feel free to restart by leaving the call and jumping in again. We welcome you to be interactive during this session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the chat box below. I hope this is clear for everyone, and if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me via the chat box below. To start, I would first like to thank our knowledge partner, Taylor's University Malaysia, for hosting this session. I will now pass the floor to Dr. Lin to give a brief introduction to himself and Taylor's University. Dr. Lin?
Thank you, Fakira. Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. Good morning. Okay, I'm Lin. Okay, today's workshop is very simple. It's not lecture, but it's talking about applying sustainability in SME. Okay. Later we want to know how to relate this sustainability in SME. Why not others? Okay. Okay. Before we start, I think let me have a short introduction about myself. Okay. Okay, this is me. I'm a Lin, okay, a senior lecturer from Taylor University, School of Marketing and Management. Okay, my field expertise will be on this on sustainability, corporate social responsibility, business ethics, and also corporate political activity. Okay, that's me. I joined Taylor for more than 2 years. Okay, my background is not academic. Okay, my background is more on the manufacturing. I've been working more than 25 years in manufacturing in China and Hong Kong. Okay, that is my expertise. So in the operation, I'm more in operation. So my position is a senior operation manager. So I worked in SME for more than almost 25 years. Throughout my life, I just worked in one company, but dealing with electronic and electrical items. Okay, I start to teach year 2000. Okay, but I complete my PhD in year 2019 and also my MBA in UK in 2016. Okay. So before we start, okay, I have some facts, okay, to share with you about what is going to happen to our motherland, Earth. So as you know, we have two parts. My workshop will consist two parts. First part will be more on understanding of sustainability. The second part is a bit crucial or important, translating sustainability into the organization term. Okay, I want to relate how sustainability can apply in the day-to-day SME operation. That is the main my focus. So before we let us okay, what is going to happen if you don't sustain? Sustainability is something is very a lot of people are talking about that. Why we so what you call busybody to sustain this one, sustain that one? But in reality, so let me share with you some of the facts. In the next 40 years, the pressure on the Earth ecosystem will increase dramatically. Of course, all of you don't bother. Increase doesn't matter. I still drive. I can still work in. I can still work. I can stay. I have my house, my pets, whatever. But maybe that's your individual. But we need to look at the ecosystem. So in reality, this will be the first. Of course, the demand for energy will be double. I mean, down 20%. Recently, I think last month, if you heard news, there's a shortage of coal in China. Then there's a limitation of what you can limit usage of the electricity. I worked in China for almost 15 years. During the summer, we have a system, we call it, you're not able to operate long hour. I mean, that you need to follow the timetable. In maybe Monday, Tuesday, one day, Wednesday, Friday, you work. Tuesday, Thursday, you're off. Because due to the electricity demand, it's very high during the summer. But there's variety not only in China, anywhere of the corner of the earth. I mean that the electricity demand is escalating. Okay. Of course, another fact is more cars on the road. This is a very good sign. More electricity means more development. Of course, very good. You don't know, compared to 10 years ago, 20 years ago, of course, today we are I mean, we call the whole development. I mean, the world, each corner of the country is developed because you need energy and you need more transportations. So, of course, 300% expected. More energy, more transportation. Of course, your GDP is the best sign. The growth of 400%. It's a good. If the country will grow, mean what happened? No employment. Okay, no, you don't have anything. You cannot generate wealth. Okay, so GDP high is a very good sign. But due to this kind of electricity or our human activity, we over the past 50 years, we have changed the ecosystem more extensively than in any period of human history. This is due to our technology, okay, our human, okay, because we are now you see everything is speed compared to the 30 years or 50 years ago. So what happened to the ecosystem? Of course, you need to exploit our mother of earth. Then the fact is 90% of the large fish in the sea have been blunted because we need food. One of the resources of protein is from fish. Okay, then you need 70% of natural ecosystem which had already been degraded. This is due to the mining. Okay, no choice because sometimes you need energy. Okay, you like coal, you need energy, you need resources. Okay, to build cars. All this iron ore, we need it. Okay, we need resources from the mother of earth. Then you need plantation. 50% all the forests once covered on the earth have been cleared and farmland for farmland and urban development. It's true. A lot of conflict between deforestation and urban development. A lot of people say you need to keep the forests, but for developing country like Malaysia, like all the third world country, if you don't allow them to clear the forest where they want to develop, it's a kind of a very contradicting kind of issue. But no choice. This is a fact. 50%. Okay, be clear for farmland and urban development, and more species is going to be heading for extinction. So, if this just a part of the sign or indicator that our Earth are not able to sustain because of fashion, the speed in which we keep exploiting the Earth is simply unsustainable for long term. Of course, our Earth is just one. The resources, I mean that they can replenish, but slower than your consumption. So what will happen in the next 50 years? You need to be another Earth. In 2050, we are using twice as many natural resources as the Earth can replenish. That is a very crucial kind of the message to all of you. If you don't start to sustain, okay, today, in 2050, where you want to live? There's not enough resources, okay, for us to generate income, to grow GDP, okay? So, in order to save the Earth, I think one of the concepts, or we call philosophy, will be the sustainability. That's what we are trying to discuss today. Okay, so the sustainability concept, okay, is very broad. I can tell you. So first, let me introduce to you a few definitions that maybe you come across. There's a plenty of definition of the sustainability. Until now, there's no one single kind of definition that you can apply to all. So I have separated two. I mean, that I find that it's a more relevant to today's topic. The first one is related to organizational sustainability, mean an organization able to achieve its goal and increase long-term stakeholder value by integrating economic, environmental, and social opportunity into its strategy. I prefer this definition because later on I will relate how this definition will help us to build or to apply in SME. So the keyword here is economic, environmental, and social. So another similar definition that I also like to adopt is a United Nations-based definition. Again, is same, meeting the present generation need in the way they are not only economically viable, environmentally sound, and socially equitable. Same. Again, economic, environment, and equity. That's why remember when it comes to the definition of the sustainability, you need to take note of three things: economic, environment, and social. So that is what you want to know about sustainability. So in order to make you clear, I have one of the statement or message from Tim Jinsel. I think he's a CEO of Cameco Corporation. It's a world largest uranium company based in Canada. So he said, simply put, sustainability at the heart of our business. So you can see a CEO can mention this kind of word, mean they are very care about the sustainability. Sustainability is not only for the big corporation. So I take example, even though big corporation, world largest company, also concerned about sustainability. Why not the SME in Malaysia? So no difference. Operation, big operations, small operation, we need to sustain. Okay, that is a message that I want to send to all of you. So when we talk about the sustainability, that's a very broad, very broad. I think if you want to discuss, I think you need to take a few days or lesson, maybe a module to understand the sustainability. So from this concept, you can see sustainability linked to environmental, then we have biodiversity, resource scarcity, anything, then you have social, governance, then generate the sustainability finance. So for SME, there's a lot of limitation. So how we want to align with sustainability? So I will, the second part of the workshop, I will let you know how we want to go about it. Okay. So remember, when you talk about the sustainability, you need to relate to environmental, social, governance. Okay. So let me explain to you. There's three. A lot of people, I mean, not only you, but including myself previously, I also confused about these three words: CSR, ESG, and SRI. Okay, what is CSR? CSR, corporate social responsibility, in a layman term, explain how the company behave. Agree. CSR is it's a setting. Okay, you need to behave. You need to take care the proper your social and environmental responsibility. When you come to ESG, a lot of people are talking ESG. Actually, what is ESG about? Actually, it's a codify what the company disclose and report. Yes, it's more on the green finance. Another word is green finance. When you look at the report, or any database, actually you are referring to ESG disclosure. Okay, remember, ESG also can relate. We can the ESG is a measurement of the sustainability. Okay, later you can see how ESG can relate to sustainability. Okay, the last one is called SI. How investors analyze company according to their CSR practice and ESG disclosure. So these three are interrelated. You need to behave. Once you behave, you need to disclose. People will know how to invest. That's why for SME to grow, you need to let people know what have you done, or how you want to protect or how you want to contribute to the society, or how you take care of your stakeholder or your employee. You need to disclose it. Then people will evaluate based on this performance. People will be willing to invest because you are really a SRI in your socially responsible investing. Means people invest not based on profit alone, but we look at the CSR and the ESG. This is a trend, okay, for the future investment, remember? So in order for SME to be listed, you need to understand the concept of CSR and ESG. Let me explain more on the ESG today. So what is ESG? So ESG, of course, from the word E, it stands for environmental, S, social, G, governance, okay? So ESG is the refer to three central factors measuring the sustainability and ethical impact of an investment, ESG for investment, to seek positive return and long-term impact on the society, the environmental, and the business performance, okay? So ESG is about this, okay? So in detail, I have a 3 slides that simply discuss about the ESG. So first is about the environmental. So environmental is referred to criteria consider how a company performs as a steward of nature. This includes energy use, waste generation, pollution, natural resources, conservation, treatment, and animal, etc. It's related to environment. Then you have social pillar. So it's include the attitude toward diversity, human rights, fighting slavery, consumer protection, and charity through CSR and volunteer program. This is more on the C. Here is you can refer to how you want to contribute to your community and to the society and as well to your stakeholder. The last one will be on the governance. Okay, governance is more on the avoid conflict or interest such as bribery, corruption, crime, and other illegal practice. So in order for a company to perform, I mean that let people to rate you as a good company, you need to perform in environmental, social, and governance. Okay. So you need to understand, in order to translate, okay, what have you done, okay, your behavior or subsidy, you need to disclose it, okay, and report in the ESG disclosure. From there, people will rate you whether you are aligned with sustainability or not. So ESG is called green finance because that people like is an indicator for people to invest to your company. Next will be why we need ESG. So I think I list here very simple kind of the reason why. First, I think it's a financial. Okay, people, you have a good performance of ESG, you let people to, of course, you practice ESG in your company, the return, of course, will be higher, which this is one of my research that we have done. ESG can lead better corporate financial performance. It's already been tested, okay? It's true, okay? It is true because a lot of reason, because first, I think you are reduce cost, you are you can gain more customer loyalty, and you can get the support from the government, etc. It's true because I think if you practice like say environmental, of course you won't buy a product that's pollute the earth. You see Nike and Adidas, they have very good kind of environmental protection. There's no animal testing, so for sure, okay, if you want, okay, improve your performance, ESG is one of the good strategy for you. Okay, as a part of the SME in the world, okay, SME, I think is very important. If you want to operate in the long-term investment horizon, you need to play a major role in reduce the low carbon economic, mean more on the circular economic. Okay, circular economic basis. If only the MNC company or big corporation taking care of the earth, SME not taking care of the earth, that's not balanced. Because later you can see majority of the manufacturing in Malaysia as well is contributed by the SME. If manufacturing in Malaysia not taking care of the earth, what will happen? Okay, I can't imagine what will happen. So, irregardless you are big, small, or medium, you are one of the major players in contributing the low carbon economy. Okay, of course, the last one, globalization. You cannot escape from globalization, so you need to remain competitive. One of the ways to improve your competitive advantage, you need to differentiate. In order to differentiate, of course, there's a lot of strategy. One way is your competitive advantage would be ESG. Mean you practice good behavior. I mean that you practice good practice in protecting the environment, in taking care of the government and the corporate governance. That will be a strategy decision-making process. Good for you. Okay. So I urge all the SME here, those who are wish to sustain in long term, you need to participate in ESG. Okay. The last one is the why. Why? Sustainability is very important. This is the facts I'm getting from the Statistical Malaysia this year 2020. You see the manufacturing factors mean that in SME contribute 69% toward the total export of SME in 2020. It's a lot. It's a lot. Okay. Then account for 45% manufacturing output. Also a lot. As GDP 38.2%. Exporter 33.1%. Employment 7.25 million person. Labor productivity 70,000. Of course, in order for the country to develop, SME we need SME to sustain. If not, if the SME cannot sustain, what happened to these facts? It become erase zero. Because if SME Malaysia not able to produce a product that can protect the environment, you keep on polluting the earth, you are not taking care of the employee. No way, and then you're not making profit. There's no way to sustain. Okay, what we discussed just now, you need to understand the concept of sustainability. Okay, so that is the first part. About understanding the sustainability. Again, when it comes to sustainability, you need to remember three words. Environmental, social, and governance. So for the second part, SME, we call small and medium. One of the major limitations is the resources. It's as compared to big corporation. Certain things, SME not able to do as the MNC doing. Okay, so in order to make it, I just narrow down. I mean that from the bigger scope of the sustainability, become a model that's suitable for the SME in Malaysia. Okay, so let's see the second part. To translate the sustainability into a organizational term, mean what we discussed just now is very broad and very general concept, but how to apply in an organization. So in order to do that, first I need to let you know, what is the difference between now and later or future. So I have two concepts over here. I've been assisting majority of the organization, SME, I can say SME in Malaysia, they are more on thin value. Thin value. What is the thin value? Thin value mean I do business in order for me to sustain or make profit enough. That's called thin value. But of course, it not say make money and then pollute. It just minimize the waste in use of resources, optimizing the value service. It just do follow what the regulation takes for them. They just obey the rules. It's a thin value. But sustainability, you need to beyond. You need to beyond. So you need to focus on the thick value, mean you need to achieve social, environmental, and economic. Why I don't put the governance over here? As you know, for small SME, it's not a listed company. So corporate governance is not a big issue in SME because maybe the company is small and also the director and it's not a listed company. So there's no minority shareholder you need to take care. So there's no due diligence kind of issue. So it's easy to manage. So I make it all simple, economic, in taking care of the profit. Okay, taking care of the profit. So from now, in order for you to move on from a thin value to thick value, what should you do? Okay, there's the next slide I will show you. Okay, from a normal basic practice, in order for you to move from thin value to thick value, this is the differences. Okay, maybe you can see the list very long. So I'm not going to read one by one, but you can see, for instance, like normal businesses, you just for growth, but in thick value, you need to improve more than that, broaden the scope, not just for growth, okay, not just growth. So in order for you to move from thin value to thick, you need to beyond the normal business practice. Look scary and maybe you look impossible. How can you ask me to do, Dr. Lin? Okay, don't worry, don't worry. I will let you know how you're going to do it. It's a very simple model that created by me, okay, to let you know how SME can apply sustainability in their day-to-day business. So I need to introduce one of the model that is a triple bottom line, Elkington triple bottom line. This is a very important model for sustainability. So I like to adopt this model because it's by the Elkington. It's easy to understand, simple, straightforward, but you can taking care the 3P. So triple bottom line, you need to take care for sustainability is a planet, profit, on people. So remember, when you translate the sustainability, the definition, remember the two definitions there, you need to translate into organization. Make it simple. No need to using that kind of critical or kind of the so technical terms. Make it simple, layman term, planet, profit, and people. It's very famous. I like it because if you chance, please read it more about John Elkington research. It's one of the famous model about the sustainability. When it comes to the planet, you're talking about environmental viable related to natural resources, water, air quality, energy, etc. Profit, economic, viable dealing with bottom line or cash flow. Of course, you need to, in order for one of the criteria for the company to sustain is a profit. No retaining profit, how you want to sustain. Don't need to discuss about planet and the people. Your own self, your company cannot sustain by your own. So profit is one of the sustainability concepts need to be included in the three bottom line. Okay. The last one will be the people. Okay, social viable, dealing with community, education, equity, social resources, health, well-being, quality of life. It's more on the social and community. So the overlapping, we have planet and profit that will be viable. Then you have people and the profit overlapping, we call equitable. Then the people and planet, we call variable. When these three, viable, variable, and equitable, superimpose together, we call it sustainability. Okay, that is a very important concept of the sustainability. Okay, if compared to ESG, okay, I would like to use this triple bottom line model, okay, to explain further how we use this triple bottom line in SME. Okay, of course, in order to make it clear what is more about what should you do in the planet, what should you do people and the profit, this will be another slide, okay, for you to know better. Okay, sorry, to know better. Okay, this is all kind of the like profit, you need to maintain financial stability, increase revenue, okay, people, renew energy, whatever, use land responsibly, all this one, okay, I mean, that is as compared to this side is too general, and you need to know more about how to go about the three bottom line here, you can refer to. Okay, you also may read this article, it's from the Snyder. It's very interesting about, because of from Plus One. Plus One is one of the top journal, okay, talking discussing about the issue, the world issue. So one of the, I find that it's a very important kind of a model over here explained by the author. Okay, next, I want to transform this three bottom line into a SME context. Very simple. This is what we learned just now. People, profit, planet. Okay. People will deal with social. This is ESG, economic, and environment. Same. This is what I want to, because when you come to the sustainability, you can use a three bottom line, you can use a ESG. So to me, I just make it one. Sustainability will deal with people or social, profit, economic, or you can say governance and planet. But when move to, I translate into the organization term. As you know, we have limited resources for SME. Okay, we cannot do everything. Okay, based on the big operation, but you can focus simple aspect. Maybe for people, you just focus on the well-being aspect. Okay, later we'll explain what is well-being. Okay, you can focus when it comes to profit. You can focus on productivity. Then later we can know how productivity can transform the profit. Planet, you can how to manage or use your resources. Simple, from a very broad kind of the definition or kind of the approach, become a very singular and straightforward approach for us to apply ESG. It's same because social, I cannot take care of the whole social, but I take care of the well-being of my employee and all my surrounding enough. It's also doing, because I have limited resources, I'm not able to become big corporation to invest this one in that one, because I'm an SME, but not because of the reason SME you don't do anything, but I also can practice sustainability in a very marginal way. Okay, so that's why I say when you deal with the people, you just focus on the well-being. Profit, you just focus on the productivity, and planet, you just focus on the resources. Let me explain to you what you do as an SME on well-being, productivity, and resources. So on the productivity, profit, this is a way how improve the efficiency. Okay, like resources, reduce the weight in input cost. You reduce the input cost, mean reduce the cost. Of course, you reduce the cost, your profit, your high. Okay, then improve your efficiency, effectiveness. Okay, maybe increase outcome effectiveness, add value to the outcome benefit. You automatically increase the productivity, efficiency, and add value of the outcome. You will boost the productivity. When the outcome means perceived value of service and product, mean your product is can make money and you can contribute to the society. That's why when you reduce the cost, you add value, automatically your productivity will high, your profit will be low. It's more on your productivity, operational management. Okay, you don't waste, you create a product that really satisfy the needs and the want of the customer. That's called perceived value. And efficiency, how you want to manufacture the product in a very lean manner. Okay, mean reduce the waste. That is the first thing you need to do. Do not waste. Okay, do not waste your resources in your corporation or your company. That's the first thing, productivity. Second, well-being, mean you need to take care of your employee satisfactions. how content or satisfied employee are with their job. This is very important. If a company or your organization, the turnover is very high, mean they work 2 months, they leave, and then work 1 month, they leave, 1 year and leave. It's not a good sign. You need to know why people cannot stay long. Why there's no loyalty? Think about it, because this is to generate the cost. People don't happy with your company. Something wrong with your company. Frank speaking, I don't know. I mean that this is one of the direct kind of the assumption, but maybe behind there there's a more issue. Of course, in general, people resign. Definitely, there will be reason for that. So you, as a well-being, because you want to practice sustainability, one of the social context, you need to take care of the employee. One of the main stakeholder is an employee. Second is you need to employee health. This more refer to environmental factor, physical health, mental health, and social health. You need to take care of the health. I mean, that of course, like physical health, you need to have a safety working environment. Okay, you cannot mental health more on the sexual harassment, whatever. Okay, social health. So for the well-being, you need to take just do a donation. A lot of company. Maybe last year during the COVID, one of the company, I think biggest hand glove company in the world. You see, there's a scandal about the dormitory of the workers, you know. But how they taking care of the employee health? The one issue, dorm, okay, the hostel, where they stay, how many person in one room or one house, whatever. You need to taking care. It's just not doing something to show people. But to me, for a company, because you are the SME, you have limited resources, okay? Why not you take care of this employee yourself? Make them happy, loyalty to you, have a very conducive working environment, and you don't let them to stand or dangerous or hazardous environment, whatever dusty environment. I do visit not in Malaysia, in overseas, but I do because I'm also doing the sourcing. Mean I need to buy some spare part, some of the component of the my product. Okay, I need to, like raw material. I need to pay a visit to all those small and medium company. And when we visit, first I find that is the working environment is not clean because they don't have finance, no arrangement. The floor is oily because mine is due more on the engineering part. And they don't have a proper procedure for the taking care the employee. They don't wear any safety boot, a kind of the what you call the employee health. They ignore it. I know the boss very good, but you say I pay them high. But to me, compensation is one, but employee health is long run, especially doing that kind of grinding or material. It's a lot. If you don't wear the mask, then you will be endanger your health. So a noisy environment and oily and dusty and very hot. There's no air condition, no ventilation. Because SME, they try to limit the space and they try the environment is so scary. So I find that it's not all SMEs like that, but majority I can say due to the because the owner, also the worker, also the CFO, also the marketing manager, but they taking care of the profit. They try to ignore the ESG. Okay, so the consequences is cause of the work stress, work-related injury, illness, and cause of disengagement. So actually, looking for a new employee, you need to base advertisement, you need to go for interview, and people, you need to train them, and then waste your time. Okay, really, well-being is to me for SME, you're just taking care of the employee satisfactions, you're taking care of the employee health. This is a very basic you are doing for that sustainability. The last one I think will be very straightforward, means how to consume your resources. Okay. Old style is more on the linear, limited. Recycle is a linear value chain. That's a very old. You use, you throw, you use, you throw. Every stage, okay, this is considered the value chain, supply value chain. Mean from raw material, you transform to the finished good. Each stage of the usage is generate waste. There's a very conventional type and traditional type of the value chain. We don't want this one. We cannot. If you keep on using this kind of linear value chain, mean you're not able to sustain the earth because you are generate a lot of waste, like from raw material sourcing to manufacturing. Manufacturing, of course, you have a manufacturing waste, but you need to reduce, reuse, reconsume, or remanufacture. Okay, that is on the closed loop value chain. Okay, logistic, you have a lot of carton box, label. Okay, I don't like to nowadays. I can see when I order part from the Lazada, Shopee, whatever. The packaging waste is one of the biggest issue. Frankly speaking, even I order a medicine or maybe a black mold or whatever the supplement, the way they pack is good. I think it's in other sense it's good to let me certify because you have very good protect the bottle. But when I open up the store, I can see I ordered 2 different supplier or different sources. I will generate a lot of packaging waste. That's called logistic waste. Mean I find that I cannot recycle because the box is too small and then a lot of bubble plastic. Think about that. How to reduce the logistic waste. If you keep on, I know e-commerce platform is very good order, but waste generated a lot because of the logistic waste. Packaging waste, consumption waste, and product waste. Why not turn it to another way using the closed loop? Closed loop is more on the reuse, on the recycle, reuse, reconsume, or remanufacture. Okay, it's more on the circular. This is more on the circular economic concept context. Like manufacturing waste, manufacturing process, reuse it. Logistic, okay, reuse. Product, reuse. Try to reuse whatever material that you consume. I know that's a very difficult, but if you practice, okay, for instance, previously my production, okay, when I send my part, okay, to one of my customer, I using carton box, paper carton box. Then eventually I say that they open up, they use my component, then they will throw away all the carton box. I negotiate with them. Is it possible? I change to another type of packaging? Mean instead of the paper carton box, can I use a poly box? I mean a box can be recycled. I also design it by using the poly plastic. But for sure, you need to return. You need to return to me. I can collect. You keep one side after use. You keep one side. I can collect. So I have this kind of practice with Canon and Panasonic. Then my logistic weight reduce a lot. At the same time, I can generate profit because I didn't need to order. Every month I need to order the carton box because of delivery. But imagine a factory in a day, how many carton box I need to use? 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 more just for delivery. But it won't come back to you. But once I do an initial investment, of course high, because the poly box, I mean recycle box you call it, I can use it for 100 times, depends on the condition of the box. Okay, I collect, even though that I collect back and reuse 100 times. So that is a very smart way we can reduce. Okay, one of the way is about the packaging cost. Okay, so if you practice well-being, you practice productivity and resources, what will happen? I translate into internal organizational issue and external. So internal, when you practice the productivity, your efficiency and effectiveness is increased, boost up. Resources, energy and material usage and waste reduce. Employee, you take care of the well-being. So what will be another form of the sustainability? The external stakeholder issue, economic progress, you profit. Environmental, you taking care of the environmental, you never produce any waste. You are limit the waste. You are taking care of the environment indirectly. Well-being, social, community well-being. You are taking care of the employee. They are happy. They go back. The family also happy. If you're depression, they cannot come to a factory, they're not happy. Of course, they go back, they will try to express the anger or the happiness to their family, whatever. You can see maybe last year also one of the incident. The one of the factory manager, I think in Penang or where, he just smashed the factory. The officer just want to kill the factory, another person because people there's an issue. Then due to this kind of well-being, they never taking care. So employee satisfactions and also the health is one of the. So this is one of the very close relationship. Do a simple, start from simple like SME, start from the productivity, manage the resources and employee. You can able to meet the economic progress, profit, environmental, planet, and people. Three things. That's called simple way of sustainability rather than you think very broad. Okay, you think no, start from a very minimum stage first. Okay, so if you're not doing your productivity, your resources, and employee, what will be the cost? High tax to cover community costs. If your product is generate a lot of waste, pollute the earth, causing a lot of issue, of course, the regulatory or government will come to you and to fine you. You need to high tax to cover this community cost. If you are keep on wasting the resources, okay, regulation and penalty charges. Nowadays, you not allow, okay, a lot of regulation to limit you, okay, of the resources. Okay, you need to take care. You cannot simply generate waste, okay, especially those have can harm to the earth, okay. Employee, okay, high tax to cover welfare and employment costs. There is a consequences if you don't practice the ESG, okay, sustainability. So this slide will be end my presentation. I think just good enough. I have a 10 minutes for you to Q&A. So overall, I think a simple way, okay, you need to, our trend nowadays about the SDG. What is the SDG? Sustainable Development Goal. We have 17 goals to achieve. First is about no poverty, zero hunger. Then we have a good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, clean water sanitation, affordable clean energy, and etc. This is the agenda 2030 goal. I mean, those who have signed, okay, the agreement must achieve, okay, target set by the United Nations. So agenda 2030 is a hot topic. Anyway, you can see this kind of sign. Okay, don't worry, you can search online. You can read it by yourself, and there's also a lot of workshops organized this week talking about the sustainable development goal. Okay, that is my message to you. So, in order to understand more about what is going to happen, this is one of the main issues you need to focus. Okay, so that's all. End of my presentation today. So again, I would like to urge that sustainability means meet the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own need. Remember, you don't have the right to steal all the wealth for your next generation. You just have to save some or keep in a nice way. Okay, who pass you in the good form, you need to pass the earth to another generation in the same condition. You cannot say destroy it and pass to another person. No. Okay, that is why I say that future generation to meet their own need. Okay, very important. Thank you so much. And okay, any Q&A, you are free to ask me. Thank you, Fakira. I'm done. Hello, Fakira, are you there?
Yep.
Yeah. Any Q&A?
If the audience would like to ask Dr. Lin any questions,
Yep,
you can type
anything?
it in the chat box.
Okay, hello, Yang Ying. Yeah. Just one of the student there. Yeah, thank you, Yang. Yeah. Anyone? You know, I think we can take a break of 10 minutes before Dr. Farah can continue. At least I can take a rest or take a break. Yeah. If any question, I think I will be here. You can ask me if you are free to talk to me. Or you can keep my contact, or you can pay me visit. Okay, I'm actually the chair of the sustainability hub, okay, in Taylor University. Those SME or those who wish to do any project related to, okay, to on the sustainability, please contact me. Any you need my advice or help, please come to me. I'm willing to help. Okay, I will try my best. Okay, to share. Okay, my knowledge. Okay. Okay, no question. I think that's all. I think we take a 10-minute break before we move on to another section. It's okay, Faranita?
Yeah. Okay,
Thank you.
so we'll take a short break. Thank you, Dr. Lin, for the insightful
Welcome.
introduction. And we'll come back at 12.
11.
Yeah.
12. Sorry, 12.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah. Okay. Min. Okay. Min. Yeah. Hello, Min. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So
Yeah, Min. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Agree. I totally agree with you because why? Compliance to the sustainability in majority of the country is not mandatory. Not mandatory means that there's no regulation or law for enforcement. Okay, I mean you need to disclose, you need to do that. But Bursa, for the time being, Bursa have a very good guideline. I think maybe they already have a good guideline. They will ensure the public listed company disclose according the ESG according the Bursa guideline. So for now, of course, it's very new. But to me, in the future, definitely the more and more stringent law will be imposed, especially in the Europe. If you want to export, if you are in the industry, I think you know, if you want to export your part to Europe or US, you need to have some certificate because REACH, RESCH, that because to ensure you are very practicing the indirectly they force you to practice ESG. Like me, I'm doing business with Panasonic and also with Canon. So even though we are not controlled by the Chinese government to apply, mandatory to apply ESG, but you want to do business with those Japanese, those who are what you call the top 500 in the world, they have a very stringent guideline that you make sure your production have to follow exactly what they mean. They will audit your company from time to time, and then they will make sure you comply to this what I call the specific kind of the rules set by the company. Okay, that is why I learned it during my past 25 years about how the foreigner or foreign company like those who are in Japan, in US, and also Switzerland and UK, you're very particular about. Even though when I studied my MBA in UK, I did a visit to a Cambridge Industrial Park. Their company also like SME, they are doing a very good CSR and also very good sustainability. Then I say that why not in Malaysia also we can practice. That's why I say that mindset need to be changed. And you can see a lot of workshop, a lot of kind of the awareness, have been led by the United Nations Global Compact to lead the SME toward the sustainability. So that is why here. Now I think very difficult, but even how difficult, because we already signed the Agenda 2020 mean we need to go for it. So CSR is one of the important. I hope,
amazing. Thank you. Yeah, because I think the question that, because I'm working as a consultant that helping business to be sustainable, mostly is public listed. Then the reason why I'm raising this question is because that you can say like regardless like the regulatory body like in Malaysia like Bursa or what, they can say that you have to issue the sustainability reporting, right? But we can say not there's a difference between a good sustainability reporting and what we call for sake of compliance. So because
do one thing,
because
say one thing. This I don't like. That's why I say that why I find sustainability is more on your heart. You need to put the sustainability in your heart. If your company leader don't practice it, you don't ask the downline to practice. That's why I say that it's more on your voluntary. It's more on you. But how to nurture them is by communication, awareness. That's what I'm here to let you know the importance of that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
thank
amazing.
you. All the best to you, to your consultant. You have any project, please come to me. We can work it out. Okay. Amazing.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Yeah, greenwashing,
amazing.
Cairo. I don't like this greenwashing. I know. Majority of the company, I'm not saying in Malaysia or where, anywhere. They just say have done this on this one, but very limited. That's why CSR is more on the behave. Okay, but you want to do the ESG disclosure, it's very stringent. You need to really go about it. Okay. Thank you, Cairo. Thank you for sharing.
Okay, hi everyone. I would like to thank Dr. Lin again for that very insightful and knowledgeable workshop introduction. With this, I would like to invite Dr. Faranita to introduce herself to everyone and move on to the second part of this workshop session. Dr. Faranita.
Okay, thank you, Fakira. Okay, hi everyone, I am Dr. Faranita here. So same as Dr. Lin, I am also a senior lecturer at Taylor's University. And today I'm going to go through about applying sustainability in SMEs. So before I start, let me see. I will just have a very brief introduction about myself. So aside from being a senior lecturer at Taylor's University, I also chair the Family Enterprise and Entrepreneurship Hub. You might wonder what this has to do with family enterprise and entrepreneurship. Well, family businesses, I know that a lot of the SMEs actually are family managed and family owned. And entrepreneurship is a very important element in our economy, especially in sustainability, because these entrepreneurs and the startups are often the ones that actually disrupt our industry with new ideas. So I have joined Taylor's University since 2019. I obtained my PhD from Lancaster University in the UK. And prior to that, I had my Master of Research from ESADE Business School, Spain. And I did my MBA in Singapore. I am half Indonesian and half Taiwanese. And my background is actually family business. So I come from family business background myself. My family actually is in they have several things, but the main one is the manufacturing of chemicals. So I do understand that in how like SMEs face a lot of struggles in terms of, wanting to make the profit, satisfying the different stakeholders, as well as trying to, especially in family business, sometimes it can be difficult to try to persuade your founding generations on what is needed in the future. We'll talk about that later. So something is wrong with me. Okay, our agenda today is about how to apply sustainability into your organization based on the sustainability principles and values, tips for sustainability integration, and the key questions and examples in order to apply sustainability into your organization. In this workshop, it's not a lecture, so I will give some main ideas, and I would like to also hear your inputs and your sharings. To apply your sustainability in SMEs, first of all, you need to ask yourself, what is your industry? Okay, what does sustainability mean to your industry? So for example, let's say I'm not working in the industry that is education industry. So what does sustainability mean to my industry, right? What are the concerns of applying sustainability in my organization? So for example, the concerns in this industry, education, is that we do have a lot of readings, right? We print a lot of papers, we read textbooks, that our students are required to read textbooks, and also there are lots of, we as academicians, we're always trying to upgrade our knowledge, and we always need to read research articles, and then we print out and read. But what are the concerns? The concerns is that, if we print so much things and so much books, it's going to, cut down too much trees, and it's not environmental friendly. So then in terms of education, then it's now moving on towards the electronic copies of books, ebooks, and also us getting used to reading PDFs. And then for you also need to think about what are the foreseeable challenges in applying the sustainability in your organization, and what are the solutions for these organizations, for these challenges. So by knowing the foreseeable challenges, then you can plan out the solutions in anticipation of the challenges. First, let's look at some examples. So I gave just now the example of education industry, and now we look into the paper and wood products. So paper and wood products, just like our textbooks and the documents that we're printing out, these are paper and wood products. And this is from the forestry industry. And forestry industry, of course, is based on the raw material from the forest, cutting down of the timber and the trees to convert into lumber and the paper products, right? So what are the concerns? The concerns, just like Dr. Lin has mentioned just now, resources on Mother Earth is not unlimited, right? And if we keep on cutting down the trees, and there will be a day that we do not have trees anymore. So if we don't have trees anymore, where else do we get our timber? It's not possible. So some of the solutions in the forestry industry would be, for example, you have to plant a tree after you cut a tree. right? So these are one of the examples in the solutions in the forestry industry. And so also we can see how people are more conscious about environmental friendly. So there has been growing percentage of paper and wood products that are sourced from certified sustainable yield forests. For example, if we buy IKEA products, there will be some product that sells that source from sustainable sources. Next example is fisheries. I'm sure a lot of you who like seafood. So in the fishing industry, of course, what they do is catching of the wildlife marines, like prawns, fish, crabs. But actually, are they limitless? They're not. They're not limitless. So the more we catch, the more it's depleting, and it will one day also, just like trees, they will be depleted. And so what happens if there's no sustainability action? Then no more fishes, and also it will destroy our whole ecosystem. What can be the solution? The solution would be, we can see the fishing industry, some of them are trying to avoid catching the little fishes, so that to make sure that they only catch maybe the adult fishes, so that the baby fishes can still grow into adults before they are being captured. And also there are lots of more man-made farm as well, instead of only catching the wildlife. And then the energy sector. Our life is very much dependent on the energy sector. The car that we drive, we need the gas, we need the oil. Like the cold countries in the Europe and the US in the winter, they need the coal, they need the gas to have their heater. And in our daily life, our electricity is very much dependent on all these things, all these energy. What are the concern? The same concern. These energies, the natural resources are not unlimited, right? In fact, lots of the analysis are saying that oil in the coming, don't know how many, within 10 years, it will be depleted. And so what would be the solution for us in the energy sector is the industry. So lots of these industry are moving on towards the renewable energy, such as the windmill and solar panels. Okay. So by knowing your industry, you first must know what is in your industry, what are the concerns, and what are the solutions before you can move on to think about what you can do for your industry. So these are the points for you to think. What is your industry? What does your industry do? And what does sustainability mean to your industry? So let's say if I'm in the education industry, right? What do? We do education, we teach the youth, and the sustainability means that if we are able to reduce the textbook usage, then we'll be more environmental friendly, that we cut down less trees. So anyone would like to share about your industry? What does your industry do? And what does sustainability mean to your industry? You can type in the chat box, or you can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Hello.
So I have worked in a petrochemical plant. Recently, I am looking into the renewable sector, but I have the experience in the plastics industry. So yes, there are a lot of aspects in the oil and gas sector. So the one part of it is we are looking into reducing the existing emissions by improving the efficiency, and on the later part, just transitioning it into the renewable sector. So this is the trend that is going on.
Thank you for sharing, Shubedita. Is there anyone else who would like to share with us your industry? Okay, that's all right. If you're shy, you may type in the chat box later, and that's okay. We will move on. Right. So we need to know like all the industries are also going to a lot of transformation. And there's the differences between yesterday's focus and tomorrow's focus. Look at the aerospace. In the past, it was more flights, more fuel, and it of course produce more carbon. And tomorrow's focus is to have more connection and less carbon. And you can see how like Boeing and all that, they are trying to produce airplanes that will produce less carbon and less material and is lighter and can carry more people. For the apparel clothing industry, in the past, you was just selling the clothing, the quick fashions, turn around and just keep selling. Nowadays, we have a lot of like in tomorrow's focus. Aside from selling, there's also the lease part. Like you can lease clothing instead of buying. And also there's lots of talk now about take back clothing, like recycling the clothing or recycle in the sense that take back the clothing and sell as secondhand clothing instead of keep on producing new clothing. In the automotive industry, it was based, yesterday it was selling cars and trucks. Nowadays, we are trying to sell mobility solutions, for example, Grab. And then the chemicals, right? In the past was make chemicals from hydrocarbons. Nowadays, what the chemical industry is doing is to sell solutions and to try to source biomaterials and recycle products. In the chemical industries, they're also trying to do a lot of R&D to source for the materials that are more environmental friendly. And we talk about energy just now, right? And in the past, it was more energy, more carbon. In the future, is the more energy, more efficient, and less carbon. And food and beverage in the past was more food, drink that tastes good. It's all about taste good. But tomorrow's focus, and in fact now people are more aware of having the healthy food, are maybe like plant-based food or food that come from sustainably sourced and less water consumption and less waste. For example, like the less plastic packagings and less use of plastic bags or the utensils or the straws. And hotels and leisures, it was in the past just selling the lodging from a facility like the hotels, right? And from in the future, and in fact is doing now is selling of the lodging solutions, including from a host, just like Airbnb, right? Instead of having an empty home, it's a solution for people who need the lodging. And industries in the past was make, sell, and forget, just produce, sell. And now it's about producing the products, lease, take back, remanufacture. I won't go through all of them, but let's look into the information and technology. In the past, look at our life. Our life is who is without gadgets. And I'm sure a lot of us have more than one handphone. So we have the phone, we have tablets, we have the laptops and everything. But however, it's actually becoming the world's toughest challenge because all these phones are also another kind of waste that is piling up everywhere, all these metals in there and the glasses and all that. So nowadays, we can see a lot of refurbished phones that are old ones, and they are being refurbished and being sold again. And one of the biggest contribution we can see was the Olympic that was in Japan this year in July. The medals that they gave out to the Olympic sportsmen are actually made out of the scrap metals. And they actually told the winners, they used to take this picture with the biting of the medals, and they are told that you're not supposed to bite it because it's from the waste. And of course, we can see all these other industries that are being transformed from being more environmental friendly and selling the solution and trying to have recycle and less carbon. So yesterday versus tomorrow, how can you make sure that your company is not being left behind? Like in the past, we had this Kodak that is, film cameras using the films. And then Fujifilm managed to transform into digital cameras. And then Kodak was kind of like died. It's still there, but it's not, because they did not transform and follow the industry, and they lose out in the market. And Fujifilm was able to transform from the old filming kind of camera into the digital camera. Another example is in the past, where we had to take taxi on the roads, where we held the taxi, wait on the road, or call taxi. Now we can get e-hailing just at the fingertip on our phone, right? So innovation is actually a very important part of SMEs, and to be able to move forward so that you are not being beat out by the newcomers in the industry. There's a saying, lift yourself before you get Kodak. So Lyft is also another e-hailing company. So in the US, there is the Lyft, there is the Uber, and then in Asia, we have Grab, we have Gojek. So Lyft, so they say lift yourself before you get Kodak. So you need to know what is the trend in your industry, what are the new things out there that you need to catch up, right? So in your industry, you need to think about who are the top few startup companies in your industry that could disrupt the entire sector over the next 5 to 10 years. Just look at how Grab has restructured the taxi industry. And what technologies and business models would provide them with competitive advantage, right? So you think about them, and then you think what should be done in terms of your own company. What can you do to transform and to catch up? And of course, for positioning for growth, think about where does your organization stand in comparison to other firms in the industry? So in your industry, whichever industry you are in, whether you are in food and beverage, you are in apparels, okay, what are the other companies doing? Are they already starting to recycle products? Are they trying to use environmental friendly products? Are they already doing something, right? And if nobody has been doing anything, are you going to be the first mover to do so? If they already done a lot, are you going to catch up, right? These are the things that you need to think. And also how much more growth is anticipated for the next 10 to 15 years to come. Anticipate your growth. And so you can plan for the challenges and prepare for the solutions. And don't forget, I mentioned about the power of innovation. Is there any need in your organization to invest in the new technologies or business model, right? Do you need to invest in the R&D? Do you need to hire consultants that can look into your current business models? I know that in SMEs, it's sometimes difficult to, like I mentioned at the start, when SMEs are managed and owned and managed by family business, and especially when there is, generations involved, sometimes the next generation that comes in and trying to persuade the founder generation that we need to have, innovation, we need to invest in something, but it's something that is of a generation gap, because the founding generation do not see the need for such investment because there's no immediate return. So it is then also another challenge that we need to look into, how we can actually persuade our founding generation or the family, the decision maker, that this is actually needed. And we can calculate, show them, okay, this is a calculation. Although we may not get the immediate return within the next 1 year, but look into the whole industry. Our competitors has moved towards this, and what would be our advantage 5 years down the road, to try to communicate and convince your, the decision maker into investing, going forward, into transform your organization in applying the sustainability. So these are another points to think. So has there been any action taken in your industry, and where does your organization stand in comparison to others in this industry? Is there anyone who would like to share? Okay.
Okay, so continuing with my with my last what I said regarding the petrochemicals. So yes, I already mentioned the actions that are being taken. So like more digitalization is there, right? More autonomous control to save the costs. Then we are working on the efficiencies, and the transition in the renewables is slow. So as I will see it in comparison to other industries, the conditions in India are different from others, as we are not that advanced in terms of technologies. So we are trying to build that up.
Great.
Okay.
So you're very clear about where you are, and you're a bit slow, but you're catching up.
Yes, yes.
That's good progress.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for sharing. Let's see. Okay, I have in the chat box, Kyril says, still looking to which optimized solution. Okay, so maybe you can think about whether what are your competitors or other companies are doing in your industry, and are you ahead of them? Are you behind them? Are you on par? And if you're on par, like what's your next step? Okay, move on. And so embedding sustainability into strategy. Okay, you need to have a strategy in terms of embedding the sustainability. Is the management or board of directors aware of the need for sustainability? Right? Sustainability involves tough and evolving conversations. So sometimes there can be a gap in between. Sustainability is a tough conversation because like we have discussed before, sometimes it's greenwashing. Some companies doing it for the sake of compliance, right? But we need to understand, we need to try to make the management to understand that there are other benefits in terms of sustainability. For example, like if we don't transform ourselves, what happens when the startup companies enter in our industry and disrupt the industry? What happens if all our competitors have moved on and we are left behind? These are a lot of things that we need to really communicate to the management level or the owners level to let them know the importance of this. It's not for the sake of just for compliance, but it's really we need to think about also the growth in the industry. So you need to think about strategy and execution. So the strategy planning, right? The company's overall sustainability strategy and positioning, the business drivers that frame how the CEO and CFO think about sustainability, and the sustainability inputs into corporate planning processes. And then, of course, talk about innovation, research and development, the role innovation plays in the business and the extent to which sustainability is connected to innovation, the process and methodologies for embedding sustainability into innovation, research and development, and the output of innovation investments. So, for example, you might want to think about investing in the new machineries that can, less energy consumptions, right? Or R&D, research and development into, a different kind of raw materials that can be more sustainable. And then the customer and markets, the sustainability linkage to customers, the core approach a company takes to address customer needs, and the role sustainability plays in shaping future market opportunity the company is pursuing. We also must then, aside from the company's point of view, we need to understand the needs of the customers and the market, as maybe different industries are different, but we can see in general, people are getting more and more conscious about the environment. We care more about the packaging. I was listening to Dr. Lin and I share the same sentiment. As a customer myself, I order things online, but I see that there are lots of plastic waste, and it's also very disheartening for me to see so much bubble wrappings and everything. And I always try to keep this and pass it over to my friends who are selling online. And I tell my friends, please put your Shopee account and say that I use used materials, so it's for environmental friendly. So if you don't accept it, you can refuse to buy from me. And then, of course, the product, services, and solutions, the basic product positioning of the company, right? Do you integrate sustainability into the product development process? Okay, and how your principles are incorporated formally or informally into your, existing product, service, and solutions. Are you telling your customers that you're using the sustainable source materials? Are you using environmental friendly packagings, right? Are you using a kind of process that are, environmental friendly, which is produce less waste? Moving on. So where do you start? You need to start with the thinking of the reducing cost and risk, the low-hanging fruit. I know for a lot of companies, the main concern about going green is the cost. Just like, like those packagings I mentioned just now, some companies, plastic wrappings is way cheaper than the paper wrappings, right? Also, in terms of that's for sellers, but on a bigger scale, for example, if you're in the manufacturing, when you are able to reduce your waste, you are able to reduce your cost as well, because you reduce the cost of transporting this waste, and the cleaning and the storing of this waste, right? So these are the things that you can think about. Actually, when you try to reduce waste, you are able to reduce costs as well. And you want to start with reducing the risk. The risk means that, the oppositions or disagreements from the management or from the owner side, or like I said, let's say in family business, the owning or the founding generations, to persuade them. In terms of risk, you want to reduce the risk because you don't want to have a whole plan ready only to be rejected at the presentation after you present it to the management or the owner that this is what we have planned. But you want to reduce the risk. So it's better to have a continuous conversation and communication to make sure that both sides have a clear understanding of what the sustainability means, what benefit would it bring us in, let's say, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, and what growth can this sustainability bring to us before you bring on your whole plan of your sustainability onto the table. Like I mentioned, it's not about doing less bad by reducing impacts, and it's about the growth. Okay, it's not only about we reduce waste now, but it's about growth, right? The next generation company doing innovation. The other options, so I understand that some, especially in SME, going green or doing green innovation, it can be challenging, especially the resources needed, the materials, the financial resources that need to put into the people, the lab, perhaps, it's all cost, and it can be very costly. But you can do collaborations, you can find, maybe you can collaborate with your suppliers in terms of getting your suppliers to get the more environmental friendly raw materials. You can, instead of having your own lab and do R&D, you can collaborate with your suppliers to do this R&D. Consortiums also is one idea in this kind of for the bigger companies. There are lots of like government industry collaborations where governments give out like grants. So let's say that you can apply for grants, like if they provide grants for you to try to apply green. And then also university industry collaboration is also another way. Like instead of having your own lab to do all this R&D, perhaps you can work with university where they have the existing resources and the manpower to work together to innovate with maybe new process or new product or new raw material. Okay, and look into your supply chain. What can your supply chain help you with? Maybe they can, do something together with you and collaborate. So these are the things that you need to think. What is the next step for your organization? This is your homework. If you want to apply for sustainability, like I said, first, you know that what is your industry? What are the concerns in your industry? In your industry, what has been done? And where are you now compared to your competitors in this industry? And then is there any, what with the growth for your industry, for your company? Anticipate the growth, right? And then what is the next step for your organization? Do you need to do some R&D? Do you need to invest in something? Do you need to change the process you're doing? Do you need to change the raw material? Or is it you have to first maybe persuade your management or the owner or the founding generation in terms of the need for sustainability? In terms of building a culture, so if you want to have a, top down from the management to employees to have all in sync that you are going towards sustainability, then you need to look into your vision, mission, and values. Okay, if you're going towards being sustainable, has your vision, mission, and value, are they in tune with your future direction, right? Are you having any public statements on your advertisements or your social media or your websites that saying, for example, making the world a better place, right? And so what does the CEO say in the public or external audiences towards the investors, customers in the community or internally to the employees? Does the investor or the management convey this need that we are trying to be sustainable or being green to the employees, right? So you need to think about, are you incorporating the sustainability in your corporate vision and mission? So this is one of the steps that you can do also in terms of applying sustainability in your company. So these are some examples of, mission, vision, and value. So the Couple Company founder, Ray Anderson, he has this mission zero promise to eliminate any negative impact the company has on the environment by 2020. And then the founder, Yvonne, has the company's mission statement as build the best product, cause no unnecessary harm, use business to inspire and implement solutions to the environmental crisis. And there's DuPont's mission. Our mission is sustainable growth. Zipcar, the company aims to enable simple and responsible urban living. Of course, there's a Record's value statement. To be one global company, we must care about people, our profession, our society, and our planet. And S.C. Johnson has the principle as this we believe. It articulates the company's value in relation to the 5 group of stakeholders to whom we are responsible, or whose trust we have to earn. And the Novelist, the leading producer of flat roll aluminum. And then so that they say commitment to sustainability is the core to our business operation and extends to how the company partners with stakeholders across aluminum value chain. So it doesn't mean that you have to change your vision, mission, and value 180 degrees, not necessarily. If you are going to go for sustainability value, you can incorporate the sustainable value into your existing mission and vision. So to make it more, communicating to your market and to the public, and also to your internal employees that you are committed to being sustainable. And other examples would be like Disney, employees all know the core value, safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency. And IBM also, they say to define the essence of the company. Okay, they examine their value in nearly 100 years. So developing a culture of sustainability, how can you do that? You need to first, perhaps if you're SME, you can have it doesn't take you to be a big company to have an executive committee. You can have people who, a few of them who are, passionate about being green, being environmental friendly, have them serve as a executive committee to push these, activities and value in the company. And you need to make sure you have the sustainability communication to employees, right? The internal rewards and recognition regarding sustainability. Like, for example, let's say if we are able to reduce certain waste, is there any rewards for the employees? And then unwritten rules of the games would be, those are not formal, but for example, like in our companies, we have a lot of like just consensus that we know that if we are leaving the office, we turn off all the electricity, we turn off all the lights, do not consume too much unnecessarily. And then also perhaps you can appoint a chief sustainability officer to lead and to drive all these initiatives and for the PR and all that. And of course, you can think of inclusion of sustainability in the performance goal and job descriptions. Okay. And so these are the points for you, your homework to think how to, how to do this into your company, in your SMEs. What are the ways you think would work to develop a culture of sustainability in your firm, right? Where do you start first? Is it the management that you need to make sure the managers are doing enough? Or is it the employee first, right? Is it top down or down up? Do you need to change your public statement? Do you need to change your vision, mission, and value? Do you need to set up a committee that can drive this? Are you going to have a CSO, Chief Sustainability Officer, right? Are you having any, unspoken rules? Are you having any rewards for employees who are able to, act sustainability? So that was the last of my slides, and I usually don't like to talk too long. So I hope that I gave some. Okay, so I gave some pointers for you to think about the next steps that you can do. So there's a question in the chat box. I'll be happy to take questions now. So who's supposed to lead in the organization for sustainability program? Legal department, HR, QMR, setting a working committee. Who's supposed to be inside? Okay, you'll be. Some companies are willing to. The bigger scales, you can appoint a chief sustainability officer, but I understand that SMEs can be resource constrained, and you can actually just appoint someone in. I don't suggest HR, but maybe not legal department as well. Maybe someone in the director level that can be the chief sustainability officer that would lead the committee. In setting up a committee, the committee doesn't mean that it has to be a full-time job. You can have a few, employees who are really passionate about this, and they can form a committee, just like a student club. So they can form a committee in driving this.
I have a question.
Okay.
So we see a lot of trust deficit between the producers and the consumers. So how to enable the standards that we are developing to be more transparent and accountable
Between the producers and the consumers. Okay, how can we be more transparent
and accountable?
Accountable. Okay. this, being accountable is the kind of like being forced. So at the end of the day, we don't want people to do out for the sake of just doing it, right? So they also need to understand the need of the customers and really look into the need of the customer. Are the customers being more aware of, being sustainable, and communicate to the market on what they're doing through their public statement, through their social media, to let the customers know that they are indeed doing something to be more sustainable.
And on producer side?
Producer side, that would be, it depends whether you have a middleman. So whether the middleman is conveying this to the producer, and whether the producer is, this is again boiled down to two sides. The producers, whether there is any rules and regulation from the government, and whether they are self-conscious in terms of understanding the groove. Sustainability is not just about cutting waste, but it's about growth in the future.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I think producers nowadays who are being more sustainable, they put labels in their products saying that they source from sustainable sources, and or they say that they are produced in the environmental friendly facility.
Yeah.
Okay. If there's any other question, or you would like to share your experience, if not, then it was a pleasure to lead this discussion on applying sustainability in your organization, especially for SMEs. And for SMEs, I know that sometimes you have a lot of constraints in terms of resources, the investments needed, but there are a lot of small things that you can start doing, and moving towards to the next goal. Okay, and so it's my pleasure, and was very honored to be invited by UNGC. And if you have like to get in touch with me in terms of, for example, generation gaps in family business management, and innovation, entrepreneurship, you can get in touch with me as well. So that's my email address. I'll be happy to see how I can help you and engage with you. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Faranita, and thank you very much, Dr. Lin, also for this super insightful workshop session. I hope that everyone has gained more knowledge throughout this workshop, as well as understand how to incorporate sustainability practices within your business. So today's session is coming to an end, and on behalf of UN Global Compact Network Malaysia and Brunei, and our knowledge partner, Taylor's University Malaysia, I'd like to thank everyone again for making time in your busy schedules to join us. But before I end this, I would also like to invite everyone to come join us in our other available workshops throughout this week, and also our upcoming event, Go ESG ASEAN 2021 Virtual Summit, which is happening on the 24th and 25th November. Once you've signed up for the event, you will get access to the month-long virtual exhibition. I'll be sharing the link to the event in the chat box below, and I hope to see you there. With that, I wish you all to stay safe and have a pleasant day ahead. Thank you, everyone.